The things that happens when you put a candidate on the platform with the president and with the Democratic candidate, and this person comes in there with half the American people wanting to hear what they have to say, the other two parties must take that person seriously, as happened in 1992. And it means they must articulate where they stand on the budget deficit, the trade deficit, and a whole series of other issues. And that's to the good for American voters, and it's to the good for democracy, because what it does is it forces them to take positions, and it forces them to lay those positions out. It forces them to debate those positions. And if you do the kinds of debates that we're talking about, where you have a real exchange, it's not just three press conferences running on simultaneously with each other, the American people will really understand the issues. And it has happened post 92 with Perot. That momentum then continues on into the Congress when an administration is putting together its program. That's what happened in 93, 94, when there was a real imperative to reduce the budget deficit.
But I want to get your sense if you think this year is different from the last cycle where Buchanan and Nader were kept out. Do you think there's a chance that something will happen differently this year to break it open?
It'll only happen if the American people want it. It'll only happen if the IRS acts responsibly. It's very clear that the existing debate commission is violating the IRS rules. If the IRS will act as it should in a timely manner and open this thing up, we can have this.
Just one quick follow-up, just on Senator Kerry and debates. One of the interesting proposals that he made recently was that they should have a series of kind of Lincoln Douglas debates over the next 7 months, and speaking to Pat's point about only having 2 debates. I think, given that they're spending tens of millions of dollars right now on television ads, spinning their messages, perhaps they could take some time out of their days to get together and have some debates and have some different kinds of debates and be more inclusive in some of those debates and more substantive, and that actually that is on the table, at least having a different kind of debate opportunity, not as structured and narrowed and reduced as we typically see. So I think that's one important thing. I also wanted to make the point that while we tend to focus on these kinds of issues at the presidential level, these issues are also with us at lower level elections, and lower level elections in this country are often quite important, governor and Senate and House and on down. And we often do see much more inclusive standards of debates, much more interesting kinds of debate formats at those levels. And as citizens who are interested in this issue, people can certainly look at what's going on in their state, look at ways that they can make sure their debates are going forward. Candidates are often more responsive to having different parties involved, and if you follow C-SPAN during the fall and you watch a U.S. Senate debate from a particular state, you'll often see that they have more than 2 candidates. They often see more interesting formats. So it can be done, so one, it can be worked for, and also they're models for what could work at the presidential level too. Thanks.
When Senator Kerry proposed that there be that he participate in 6 presidential debates, the Citizens Debate Commission announced that it would be happy to sponsor those 6 presidential debates. The Citizens Debate Commission believes the more debates, the better for the American electorate. Let me just quickly outline the Citizens Debate Commission's proposal. The Citizens Debate Commission has proposed 5 debates, not 3 debates, which the Commission on Presidential Debates currently has scheduled. 5 presidential debates in the fall and a single vice presidential debate. The Citizens Debate Commission obviously supports the Appleseed criteria, and the Citizens Debate Commission has proposed 3 or 4 very unique formats. The first ever youth debate, to have young people posing questions in a town hall type of audience. The first ever authentic town hall debate, and what I mean by authentic is that currently the candidates in the Memoranda of Understanding require that the town hall questions be pre-screened. In the 2000 presidential debates, Jim Lair received cards with all the questions in advance. He would filter those cards. He would look at them to make sure none of the questions were zany or none of the questions addressed different issues he didn't think ought to be, belonged in the presidential debates. And the Citizens Debate Commission doesn't think that's right. We think a town hall debate shouldn't reduce citizens to just props. We think they should be able to ask what's on their mind. That's the very purpose of the debates, not to be an accessory to Jim Lair. The The Citizen Debate Commission has proposed authentic panel debates. In the past, panel debates are just reporters asking questions. There's clearly nothing wrong with reporters asking questions, but why not have business leaders, labor leaders, citizen activists, artists, student leaders, religious leaders asking those questions as well? We think that they would raise a diverse number of issues. And the Citizen Debate Commission would like 2 single moderator debates that allow the candidates to ask each other questions and actually talk to each other. The most stunning thing about the Commission on Presidential Debates' formats is they actually prevent the candidates from talking to each other. It's in the agreement. They can't talk to each other. What kind of debate prohibits the candidates from talking to each other? These aren't debates. We think the candidates should be talking to each other during the debates. So we'll have a single moderator debate. Moderator merely monitors the times, raises questions whenever there's a standstill, and the candidates can address each other's issues, raise various issues, have interruptions. It's an actual debate. So these are the 4 or 5 different debate formats that we've proposed, and we have the Appleseed criteria, and we have 5 actual debates. It's clearly a superior proposal than the Commission on Presidential Debates, which only has 3 debates, has a criteria which is de facto excludes every third-party challenger, and allows the candidates to tell you what the formats are going to be so they don't look like deer in the headlights. And any more questions from the audience? Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm Al Milliken, affiliated with Washington Independent Writers. Canada, or should it make a difference if a third candidate is supported by a party or is independent?
The open debates in the Citizens Debate Commission certainly does not differentiate between whether or not a candidate is independent or a representative of a third party. As long as that candidate meets the Appleseed threshold, we think that candidate ought to be included in the presidential debates. I also want to make a point. This issue, of course, is not just about third-party exclusion or inclusion. We've addressed this issue thoroughly tonight, but it's about transparency, it's about format manipulation, it's about raising critical issues. Presidential debates are the only format in which tens of millions of Americans are watching the candidates for the presidency on the same stage at the same time. There is nothing like the presidential debates. And this forum has an extraordinarily important impact on setting the frame for debate discourse and for presenting the candidates in the only situation in which they're not in control of that very situation, ideally. And the Commission on Presidential Debates abdicates that responsibility by absolutely having those candidates in control of the debates, just turning into another one of the campaign commercials. Anyone like to comment on that?
That was a good spot to stop.
Thank you very much. Thank you all for coming.
Good to see you. Take care. I'm just, I'm doing the footnotes on the updating.
Today on C-SPAN, the Rwanda genocide, 10 years later. This forum, hosted by Northwestern University, is at 4:45 p.m. Eastern. Tomorrow on Washington Journal, the third of a 5-part series